Okay, Chapter 2, Family-Centered and Community-Based Maternal and Pediatric Nursing. The family is the oldest and most basic unit. And what is family? Family is probably different for me than it is for you and from you to the next person. But the basic part of it is, what is that primary purpose? What are they to do? And that is to ensure survival. A family makes sure that somehow you survive. That's who sticks with you, pulls you up out of the mud and gets you going, whether it's your mom, your dad, or it's just your good friend. It's different for everybody and it looks different. Definition of family is 2 or more people living in the same household, sharing common emotional bonds, having a caring long-term commitment, providing for individual growth of each family member, and interacting in social events. So you can see where that makes family a wide variety. It could be anybody. And there's several different types of families that you can have. 2 of the most, the easiest way to put it is, you're going to have a functional family and you're going to have a dysfunctional family. And maybe you have a little bit of it both mixed into your family. You've heard the saying, we put fun in dysfunctional. Yes, yes, my family has some dysfunction. We all have some dysfunction. But a functional family is that no single participant dominates over one another. All members develop positive self-esteem. Dysfunction happens when family members they fail to perform different functions, they have power struggles, they have a limited or distorted view of normal childhood growth and development, which we'll talk about more in pediatrics. They'll create unreasonable expectations and responsibilities for children. They'll have high risk for physical and emotional problems. And so anytime we see any of those things, we're kind of keen in, and we've got to be aware that there might be some dysfunction in this family. And how can we help them work through that? How can we sort that out? Going back to family, like I said, it's the oldest, it's the most basic unit. Its primary purpose is to ensure survival. The structure can vary from one culture to a different culture. Some family members, some cultures have the entire family living in one house, aunts, uncles, grandparents. In other families, it might just be that immediate traditional family. Whenever we're talking about families, there's different terms. You have traditional family, you have extended family, meaning aunts, uncles, grandparents, multi-generational, you have single parent families where it's just one parent raising the children, you have blended families, sometimes that's divorced families, stepmoms, stepdads. You have communal family where it's people who have chosen to live together because of some kind of social values or interests, something like that, economic necessity. I often think of nudist colonies whenever I think of this one, but whatever it might be. You have cohabitation families, unmarried couples who are living together, adoptive families who have chosen to adopt a child, or maybe it's even an older child, homosexual families, foster families. You have a huge variety of all sorts of types of families. But again, functions remain the same. You have to have that physical substance. They need to be provided for. You have to meet those basic needs, the food, the shelter, the clothing, protection. You also have emotional support. Again, going back to a dysfunctional family, if that child isn't having his or her needs met, if the parent is dominating over them, if the parent is expecting too much of them, then they're not getting that emotional support that they need, and we have to somehow help establish that. You also have intellectual stimulation, which is a basic need. Whether you hate school or not, every person needs some kind of intellectual stimulation. Even if you hate school, you can still love playing games, and that is also getting some kind of intellectual stimulation. And then socialization. Socialization must be taught. A child learns what is acceptable in society by his parents, by his family members, by whoever it is guiding that child. And spirituality is no different. It's asking yourself, what is the meaning of life? And whether you believe in higher power or you believe in warm thoughts, whatever it is, all of us have a need for spirituality. And the family is the one that brings all of that together. They're the ones who teaches us how to behave in society. And maybe there's some people saying, I wish I could teach that child how to behave in society. But whatever it is, emotional support, physical substance, all of these things are provided to us by our family, whatever that family looks like. Community-based nursing. Community-based nursing provides the nurse with an opportunity to function alongside that person. It allows them to focus on a wellness-focused environment. It can be different settings, different places, whether it's a home, a birthing center, hospitals. A lot of times as a community nurse, we are looking for those clients, those people who are a little bit more at risk, and trying to bring them into whether it's getting that prenatal care, or maybe it's the postpartum care after the hospital, or whatever it may be, just trying to get them more on track with the needs that they have. The community care setting for the maternity client, like I said, it can be at birthing centers, it can be at the hospital, it can be home, it can be any of those places. Community care settings for the child will look a little different as well. You can have outpatient settings, especially if a child has a disability or something, is needing physical therapy, occupational therapy. You might be referring that child out to outpatient settings, or maybe going to their home and doing home health care. Schools, camps, this is where the school nurse comes in, community centers, parishes, intervention programs, any of those things, and then residential programs as well. Issues facing children and families and pregnant women, it's often poverty. It's not that those women don't want to get prenatal care, it's just they're scared and they don't know how to afford it. So a lot of times as a community-based nurse, we're going out into the community and we're pulling those women in. We're giving them education, we're showing them where those resources are. They just don't know, and a lot of times it just simply comes down to a lack of information. If we can teach them, if we can give them that information, then we can empower them. They might have questionable decisions about their priorities. Rather than going to get prenatal vitamins, I'm going to use that money on booze and cigarettes. Well, that's not a good idea while you're pregnant, and this is why. A lot of times they don't have the education to understand that. And so it's breaking it down and it's teaching it to them. And it's teaching them how to cope effectively and giving them those skills, so that it's no longer us teaching them, it's no longer us just preaching at them, but it's their understanding. And it's when that happens, when someone has the education or the information for themselves, they can claim it, they can use it, and that's really what nursing's all about. It's empowering those people to make good decisions on their own and not us just forcing them into it. All right, the end.